If I can have your attention here in the Media Center again, we welcome at this time Ryan Newman, driver of the number 39 U.S. Army Chevrolet, who is currently 4th in points. Ryan, talk a little bit about coming off Bristol and coming into Auto Club Speedway this week.
Well, I'm really proud of everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing, the start that we've gotten as an organization, and I guess at the same time proved that what we talked about we are capable of, at least this year. And coming into California after our finish as an organization here last fall, Tony winning and us getting the top 5 after battling back on the last restart was and you know, happy to be where we're at now, coming back to this racetrack with our past performance here last fall.
All right, at this time we'll open it up for questions for Ryan here in the Media Center. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you, and as always, state your name and affiliation. Tom?
Hey Ryan, Tom Jensen, Speed.com. From a technical standpoint, from a driver's perspective, where does this track rank in degree of difficulty, and just from kind of a fun perspective, where does it rank?
It's the most difficult, I think. Not necessarily on just in pure engine performance. Just, you know, what you have to have as far as an engine package here is extremely important to have a successful day. Be able to get off the corners is one part of it, but it's really got to run from the start-finish line on as well, because there is so much straightaway, and you know, you get a big difference in RPM that you don't at other racetracks. You know, even a place like Michigan, you carry just a little bit more corner speed and don't have to worry about the acceleration as much. And at the same time, we'll even though the RPM band is so far down, we'll have to work on our forward bite, our forward drive a good bit here, more so than other racetracks. So those are the things you know, that we focus on here. But the most fun part of this racetrack now is its age and the fact that we can widen out the corners and get you know, get up in the gray, and it really hooks the car up. And I don't know what it's going to be exactly like this weekend. Number one, with the rain and you know, the way the schedule works and the overcast that we'll have here now, that typically in the past we've been dealing with 105-degree temperatures. So you know, those are the things, you know, from a performance standpoint we'll be working on and keeping an eye of.
Thank you.
Questions? Dustin? Over here.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Ryan, you referenced the start of the season for both teams. Is there really that much that's different from this year to last year, or is it as much luck and different things? I mean, I know the last couple of years you've been 29th, 32nd in the points of the season. Is there that much that's changed or evolved in the last couple of years, or can you kind of talk about how both you guys are both up there, and certainly Tony has been capable of winning races also?
Yeah, some of it's luck. You know, even the little bit of bad luck we had at Daytona, it's leading the most laps. You know, then going into Phoenix, we were fortunate to stay out of the big one there in Phoenix, and that was the luck that we usually had. It was just we were on the other side of the luck. We were on the bad luck side, not the good luck side. But in saying that, I think the team as a whole has done a good job of having cars that are performing well, so that we're in a better position. You know, our pit crew has done a much better job this year to open the season than they have in the past. And in saying that, I think that you know, with our start to the season, meaning the 39 side, you know, I think that also helps the 14 side, because we can, you know, we have two teams that are starting off well versus one team that's notoriously started off, you know, well, not as well as Tony is, but well. And you know, just the overall strength and the backbone of our team, our organization is much better and stronger than it has been. And part of that is just pure confidence from the first 4 races. It's kind of, I'll let you know, because I've always been Stewart-Haas in the organization. I've always been that guy that's been working his way back up from a unlucky or misfortunate start. So you know, I'm hoping that you know, us being as good as we are at the start of the season on the 39 side, that we'll see how that helps the 14 as well. So I don't know that it does. I'd have to say that if you look at confidence and momentum, we've both got a great opportunity and a great start to the season, being tied for points 4 races in.
Questions for Ryan? Again, raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you.
Sorry to be late here, Ryan. Lewis, Frank, Reuters. Any pressure to get a win in on the wild card side? Pardon.
I don't think there's any pressure, but it's I guess like an insurance program when it comes to the chase. As it was last year, they said we would have been in the chase if this year's rules were last year's rules, but they weren't, and now they're different. But we're here to win each and every race. If you get that win, then you have 4 DNFs after that, then there's still a chance that you may not be in the top 10, but you'll have a chance to make that top 12 part of it. But I think in saying that, 2 wins, and you can pretty much play around in the summer if you're not worried about getting extra wins and play with some things with the race car and strategies and things like that to put yourself in a different position potentially. But ultimately ultimately we're here to win. So whether it's now or in Richmond or Daytona in July, we don't have the answer as to who's going to be those 2 guys that are locked in.
Any more questions for Ryan? Dustin, right over here.
The crazy part is you could have a guy that wins 2 races be 25th in points and still can make the chase and not even 20th in points, which would probably happen anyway. But if say he's 18th in points, doesn't even have any pressure to race his way in Richmond, and there might be 3 or 4 guys racing for 10th at that point, locked in because he got 2 wins back in April or May.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Ryan, I've heard a lot of times some people have said in the past that Vegas can validate California performance because of the horsepower and aerodynamics, but somebody was telling me that because Vegas is a little bit more of a rougher track now, that maybe not as much carries over that California may actually help validate what could happen at Texas because surfaces there might be more similar. Can Vegas validate what happens here, or are the 2 tracks becoming too different that it's California and something else?
I think whether they're the same or not the same, whether they're rough or different shaped, I think the biggest thing that validates each other is the confidence to be able to adjust to each of them. I don't think it's necessarily that the bump in turn 2 at Vegas, transfers over to the bump in turn 4 at California or Texas or whatnot. I think it's more so your ability to adjust the race car in those conditions, and that confidence gives you, the ability to kind of fight through those situations so that you're not necessarily comparing racetracks, but you know that in the back of your head you're capable of achieving what you want on a given day.
So it's more about...
My point is Vegas and California, to me, aren't even close. Okay. And Vegas and Texas are closer than Vegas and California. So it all depends on who you talk to and what they struggle with at those racetracks. The 43 car might have problems with the bumps at Vegas and California, but be great at Texas because of their setups, and they not even know it. So it's just a matter of opinion, I think, at that point.
And whereas with you guys, because of your better start this year, that there's more confidence that if something happens, you guys, I guess, feel more confident you can get around it, as opposed to maybe the last couple of years where maybe there are a little bit more questions because of where you were in the points or things.
I think the biggest part of our confidence isn't necessarily that we're tied for 3rd in points, as it is how we got to this point. Our performances on the racetrack to come back from some of the things that we've dealt with, and to have as good a start is nice. But that confidence of how we work together, I think, is what to me is more exciting than actually being 4th in points, because I think we've done much better as a team to get to where we are this year, and done what we thought we were capable of the last 2 years. We just had bad racing luck that put us in a hole that we had to fight out of.
Lee Spencer over here.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Did you restructure your pit crew at all in the off-season?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Pretty sure all the guys stayed the same way. I think the way we made one change with maybe 10 or 12 races to go last year, something like that, and I think that's the way it's been from that time on.
Lewis, right here.
Ryan, Lewis, Frank, to follow up, on this chase scenario, you see a team that, kind of gets into the chase but spends all of their effort preparing the cars for the last 10 races? Is there a possibility I mean, a strong possibility of a team that might be 10th in the points or 11th or 12th, but just puts all of their effort on working on mile-and-a-half tracks or whatever, dominates the chase. Is that a way to win a championship?
I don't think that a team would do that. Number one, I don't think a team can win a championship in doing that. Number two, because what it takes for an average finish in those last 10 races, you can't bank it on mile-and-a-half racetracks. Between this restrictor plate track and a couple short track races in there, your average can significantly fall if you weren't any good at those other tracks. So ultimately, we're trying to win each and every race as a team.
Okay, hold on one second. We'll get a mic right to you, Dustin.
Depends on which questions you've asked. I've been there before. You want me to go? Want me to say it? Okay.
Looking ahead to Martinsville, last 9 races, only 2 guys have won there. You've had a good bit of top 5s or top 10s there. How do you feel like that your program is progressing? Are you guys on par where you can beat the 11 and 48, and why have 2 guys dominated at one track when competition's supposed to be so close?
Well, I think the competition is still real close. It's just I think those guys have risen to the ultimate top, at that racetrack, which is entirely unique to anything else we have on the schedule. So I think that itself, Martinsville being Martinsville, is part of it. The other part of it is the drivers have to really modulate that brake pedal, which is another part of it, because you can have the best car there and burn the brakes off of it and finish 35th. So, yeah, I've actually blew 2 tires out, melted the beads on 2 tires at one time, and blew both of them at the same time, which I thought was pretty cool afterwards. But we've been good there. We've been really good, especially on Fridays, and we seem to start off a little slow on Sundays and end up in the top 5 or the top 10 as you stay. I think that last fall was going to be a good race for us had we not lost the gear, because we were leading at the time, and I think that we've made some pretty big gains to try to catch those guys and surpass them.
All right, Ron, thank you very much for your time this morning. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.